In how much time do you have to solve these questions? Okay, nobody remembers, it feels? Alright, let me only tell you. So, in your language skills section, you have 36 questions to be solved in 28 minutes. Okay, 36 questions to be solved in 28 minutes. So, you have approximately 45 seconds per question on an average, right? So, this is how your pattern is. Just give me a second. All right. Just give me a second, okay? Our team is messaging me and I have to respond to this. All right. So as I was telling you, we have to solve 36 questions in 28 minutes. So yesterday also I took a session on parajumbles. There also we discussed this, yes? 28 minutes. 28 minutes you are given, so you have sectional time limits in NMAT. Okay, it's not like you have to manage your time on your own. You have sectional time limits and you have to abide by those. You can't navigate through the sections within that period of time, right? So 28 minutes you have to spend on your language skills. I will talk about analogies also as part of other things. So in analogies, I will be talking about one question, right? We'll be solving one question on analogy. The goal is to expose you to various question types today. Okay. So I hope, yes, you have been attending sessions in the last lab to NMAT. Yesterday, I conducted a session on parajumbles, wherein I talked to you about what all types of parajumbles have been asked in NMAT in the past, and we solved some 10-11 questions on that, right? So 3 p.m. every day you can join us for last lab. Now, let's talk about the language skills section in detail. Yes, so we have all these topics here and these are the number of questions from each topic. Now, of course, this is not written in stone that every year this is going to happen. Okay. However, in most of the slots last year, in reading comprehension, you had 12 questions. Parajumbles carried 4 questions, right? So these 4 questions, 2 of the parajumbles in many slots were of 4 sentences, okay, 4 sentence type parajumbles, and 2 of the questions were 5 sentence type parajumbles, 5 sentence type. Okay, so no difference, just that one can take a bit of an extra time because of 5 sentences. That's it. Analogy questions, yes, 6 questions on analogies, and yes, we are going to have a vocabulary session soon wherein I will discuss. In that vocabulary session we'll talk about analogies, fill in the blanks, and also idioms and phrases. So idioms and phrases will help you for SNAP particularly, and these all the 3 will help you for NMAT. Although in NMAT this time they haven't really mentioned idioms and phrases, so for NMAT these 2 will be of much more use, right? Okay, so reading comprehension 12 questions, parajumbles 4 questions, analogy 6, fill in the blanks, okay, based on grammar and vocabulary both, 4 questions. In some slots there were 5 questions from this. Fill in the blanks based on prepositions. So see, prepositions are very, very important. In SNAP also you get some exclusive preposition questions, right? In that also last year we had one question wherein they specifically asked you whether the preposition usage in various sentences was correct or not. So prepositions are important, right? And then finally error spotting and identifying the correct usage. So this is your usual grammar question type that you've seen in other non-CAT exams also. Those of you who have prepared for MAT, CET, CMAT, they're already aware of error spotting. Those of you who are not, we'll look at some of these questions today. Okay? All right. Coming to NMAT 2020, see, because we are trying to analyze the previous year papers, so we'll not just look at 2021. Let's have a look at 2020 as well, because it was in the year 2020 that NMAT became adaptive, right? Do we understand the meaning of an adaptive test? If not, I'll explain this in an upcoming slide. Okay, so before that it was not adaptive, so I'll not talk about the pattern before that, because the dynamics of attempting a paper change drastically when it becomes adaptive, right? And the number of questions also earlier used to be higher, the time given used to be less. So let's stick to these 2 years. Okay, so reading comprehension, again see 12 questions, so this is relatively consistent. Parajumbles, again 4 to 5. Analogy, again 5 to 6. Fill in the blanks based on vocabulary, 4. Now this is of course one of the slots, or let's say the most common out of all slots, because every slot can be different. But they maintained this parity that in most of the slots 12 questions were there from RCs, 4 to 5, 5 to 6 questions from other topics. That parity was maintained. Right, so pretty standard consistent question types. Okay, and in fact this year also they have very specifically stated on their website which all topics the language skills section is going to cover. I'm going to show you those topics in a short while. Now high frequency words. See, yeah, so how will studying high frequency words help you? While a direct synonym antonym question may or may not appear, it will still help you for your analogy questions. Because what are analogy, how are analogy questions formed? From words only, right? From vocabulary words only. So it will help you tremendously for analogies. It will also help you for your contextual vocabulary questions. So fill in the blanks based on vocabulary. And definitely, in case of, let's say, fill in the blanks, in its place, we can have synonym antonyms also, right? So in vocabulary, in the case these come, then of course it will be of direct help to you, learning those high frequency words. So my suggestion is please go through them, because see, you are not just going to take NMAT, right? You are going to take, some of you are going to take SNAP also. Some of you must be planning for other non-CAT exams. So it will help you in various non-CAT exams, be it IFT, SNAP, later on TISNET, right? MyCAT, and even for your RC passages in CAT. The more words you know, the smoother the navigation of the RC becomes, right? So the high frequency words, learning them is a win-win for you. Yes, Danish, correct. That is the meaning of an adaptive test. So when I say NMAT is an adaptive test, what do I mean is that, yes, let's say you answered question 1 correctly. Then the next question that comes on your screen, question 2, will be of a higher difficulty level, and it will carry more marks than the previous question. Now let's say if you answered this also correctly, then again slightly higher difficulty level, slightly more marks. On the other hand, if you answered this incorrectly, then what is going to happen? Lower difficulty level and fewer marks. This will carry fewer marks. Okay, so this is how an adaptive test works. The difficulty level of your next question is determined by whether you've answered the previous question correctly or not, right? So the conclusion from this information, a very important insight is that your first few questions matter a lot, right? Because if you answer these correctly, it will push you to a higher trajectory right in the beginning, a higher score trajectory right in the beginning. Then even if, let's say, you answer a few incorrectly, the curve, even if it becomes flatter, it will become flatter at a higher level, the score curve. So it's important that you pay attention to your first few questions and you try to get them accurate as much as possible, right? This is for all the sections and not just for my section. Okay. You cannot skip questions. That's another important implication of an adaptive test. You can go to the next question only when you have answered the previous question. So you have to tackle all the questions. That, however, does not mean that you have to sincerely attempt all the questions. Okay, why am I saying this? Because see, if let's say your 12th question is a difficult question, okay, it's a difficult grammar question, right? You are not even able to narrow down to 2 options. That does not mean that you will not proceed unless and until you figure something out here. Simply out of those 2 options, if you've not been able to figure out, if you've no clue, simply mark one of them randomly and proceed. Just because you cannot skip questions, that does not mean you have to spend an equal amount of time on all the questions. No, some of them are still easier, some of them are still more difficult for you. So please be smart here, right? In some questions, you will have to make this compromise that you have to mark one randomly so that you can get the next question. And you cannot decide. So earlier, in NMAT, I would recommend to students that go for vocabulary and grammar first, then go for your PJs and RCs. But now I can't recommend this because you cannot decide which questions to attempt first. You have to tackle whatever comes on your screen first. Last year, fortunately, most of the slots RCs came towards the end. So a student didn't have to tackle them head on, right? So that was fortunate last year, right? So these are the things that you should take away from knowing the pattern. That's why I tell you knowing the pattern is important. Okay. All right. So I hope these things are clear to you, these points to remember. Now, last year's cutoffs. Again, we should know the framework, right? Kitna score karna hai, ye pata hona chahiye, isn't it? So, NM Mumbai last year had a score of 71, right? This 71. So, you are given a score band. Do you know this? That in NMAT also, just like GMAT. So, they've patterned it very closely to GMAT, right? So, in GMAT also, you get a score band. So, the lowest score is not 0 there. The lowest in NMAT here, it's 12 and the highest score is 120. Okay. So, last year, this was 71 out of 120. Lowest is 12, highest is 120 for all your, for all your sections. This is the same. Not just for language skills, but for all your sections. So, for NM Mumbai, the cutoff was 71 on 120. For Bangalore, it was this. And for Hyderabad, it was this. So, this is the threshold. You have to score above this, right? And a comfortable score, in my opinion, would be somewhere around 80, right? That will actually make you pretty comfortable about crossing the cutoff of language skills. So that is what you should target and not a 71. That's my opinion. Yes, no negative marking. No negative marking. See, actually, why do I say no negative marking? Because we don't know how many marks you are getting for one question. They don't disclose that. Just the score band is disclosed to you. You don't know how many marks you've got, let's say, for question number 1. So let's say question 1 was of 1 mark. Because you attempted it correctly, maybe the second one was of 1.25 marks. You don't know. Because you got this incorrect, maybe the third one was of 1.05 marks. We just don't know what their algorithm is, right? So that is why we say no negative marking, because at the outset, आपको नहीं पता चलता क्या negative marking है, right? Okay. So these were the cutoffs. I would say that you aim for an 80. Last year I had a score of 96 in language skills. So I mean, for me, because I teach you, I want to get as high a score as possible, right? For you, if your other sections are your strength, then give your best here. At least aim for an 80, okay, and then maximize your score in the other two sections, right? So it depends on what your strengths, what your weaknesses are. You know them better. Okay. NMAT language skills topic coverage. Now, this is not in my opinion. This is as per the NMAT official website, the nmat.org website. This is as per that website. So they have mentioned a list of topics that the language skill section is going to cover, right? So reading comprehension has been there in the last 2 years. Paraforming they have called it, but they are para jumbles only. Error identification, prepositions, sentence completion they have called it, but what I think is that they mean fill in the blanks when they say sentence completion, and analogy. So these are mentioned on the website as your topics that will be covered in the language skills section, right? Okay, so let's look at some questions, okay, of NMAT level. What kind of questions are asked? Not all questions will be difficult. A lot of students assume that NMAT mein सारा ही difficult होगा, or once I answer something correctly, I am going to get a difficult question only. That does not happen. See, the level of difficulty is also incremental. As I showed you, it's a graph. So it's not that once you've answered an easy question correctly, the next question is going to be very difficult. It does not jump like that. Okay, so let's show you some questions that give you an idea of the level. Here is a parajumble question. Okay, but before that, in case you find value in this session, please go and press the like button and do share it with your friends who are preparing for NMAT. Because with these exams, students don't realize when the exam has come, right? Because there is such a long window, so they are pretty chilled out about it. But don't do that. I hope all of you have decided when you are going to take the exam and accordingly have a calendrical plan, right? So do share it with your friends who are going to take NMAT. And yes, para jumble question here. These are your 5 options. NMAT gives you 5 answer choices, 5 options. These are your 4 sentences. I want you to arrange them and tell me the answer. Start. Idioms, they have not been written in the syllabus, the topic coverage part of your NMAT official website. Idioms and phrases have not been written. But see, just to give you an idea, when I say sentence completion, in this, can I not ask idioms as fill in the blanks? I can, right? So while it has not been written explicitly, idioms and phrases can appear, right? Okay. So let's see this parajumble question. Let's see who answers the fastest. Okay, I've got one response already. Good, good. So on an average, you have 45 seconds for a question. I was timing you. What do the others say? Just one student has responded. Come on. Okay. Disha says E. All right. Nihar says C. Let's see what the others say. 3 responses I've got so far. I want 16 more responses. Vaishnavi D. All right. So very diverse responses. I want a consensus. One option that is given by most of the students. That's what I want. Tanishq says E. So 2 D's, 2 E's so far. There's a tie. Somebody please break this tie. All right. Okay. 4 E's, 3 D's, 2 C's. Confused between D and E. Oh, okay, I understand. So, see, that means most of us have realized this, that 4 is the opening sentence. But see, the examiner is also pretty cunning. She probably realized this, that you will find out this very quickly, that because this is a few historians and other sentences have them, these same historians, they. So you will also realize that 4 is the opening sentence, right? Because of the noun, pronoun, relationship. And when I say these same historians, I need to have mentioned them first. So that is why 4 is the opening sentence and not 2. Okay. Now, what is the problem here? See this. So, it's not that I can solve the entire question just by looking at the initial few words. While they do help me, but I can't solve the entire question through that. So, in recent years, however, a few historians of science have been finding it more and more difficult to fulfill the functions that the concept of development by accumulation assigns to them. So we are talking about a difficulty that scientists are facing. What is the difficulty? That basically they're not able to fulfill the functions that the concept of development by accumulation assigns to them. That all development happens by the incremental efforts of different people. That is what development by accumulation would probably mean. Okay. Now this is simultaneously they confront growing difficulties. So this perhaps, when I say simultaneously, that means at the same time, there are some other difficulties also that are being faced, right? This is what I gather from it. So I'll read 1 and 3 and I'll see first, are they related to 4? If yes, then they will come first and 2 will come later on. So let's see. As chroniclers of an incremental process that a new scientist built on the work of previous scientists. As chroniclers, somebody who's recording an incremental process, they discover that additional research makes it harder and not easier to answer questions like when was oxygen discovered, who first conceived of energy conservation. So, isn't one giving me examples of the concept of development by accumulation? Development by accumulation says this, that okay, first somebody discovered something, then developments happened. So the progress in a particular field has been incremental. So 4 and then 1 serves as an example. Let's see if 3 fits between them. Is the answer B or is the answer E? Right? 3 says, increasingly, a few of them suspect that these are simply the wrong sorts of questions to ask. These are simply wrong sorts of questions. So 1 has to come before 3. 1, 3 is a pair. The moment you realize this, your question has been solved for you. E is the answer here. 4, 1, 3, 2. Right? So I have just highlighted various types of clues that were present in these questions. So for instance, in these sentences, for instance, a few historians of science, a few of them, these same historians, these are all grammar based clues. These are all grammar based clues. Right? Similarly, these are simply the wrong sorts of questions to ask. Which questions? These. Again, a grammar based clue. That's why in green. Okay, then what about these yellow? Incremental process, development by accumulation. Isn't this a theme-based clue? You need to understand the meaning of development by accumulation, incremental process, right? More and more difficult, harder, not easier. They also relate in terms of their tone, in terms of the subject matter that they're discussing. So these are theme-based clues. And lastly, these are structure based in a way. For instance, questions like, so this is an example of what was the problem that was just mentioned. So this is a structure, right? Definition example or problem statement and example. So structure based clues are there in blue. Right? Simultaneously, again, I am saying that, okay, this problem is being faced. Now I introduce another problem into the mix. So simultaneously, another problem is also there. And this is sort of a deduction that they have made out of all these problems. This is the conclusion that they have made out of all these problems. So what have they realized? That probably from this problem 4 and 1, they have realized that perhaps science does not develop by accumulation. बिकॉज उनको इतनी डिफिकल्टी हो रही है accumulation से एक्सप्लेन करने में, उन्होंने conclude करा perhaps science does not develop by accumulation, right? So I hope this makes sense to you. I wanted to show this to you very comprehensively. This is also something that we did yesterday in our 3 p.m. session, so you can watch for more examples, for more questions, right? Okay, now what is the ideal score for getting admission in NM Mumbai? For language skills, the cutoff last year was 71. For an overall cutoff, I think it was 232, if I'm not wrong. I'll just confirm this once. 232, that's what I remember. I'll confirm this once. Meanwhile, you solve this question. Error spotting question. Let's see what you say. This is a very short question. This should save your time. Okay. Word. Confused between A and E. Okay. I've got A, B, C and also E also. Okay. Yes. For NM Mumbai, I'm right. It was 232. And the percentile was 98 to 99 at this 232. Okay. So A, B, C. Okay. All right. All right. Is any consensus emerging in the chat box? A. Okay. I've got similar number of B's and C's. A lot of C's now. All right. All right. Now, yes, for colleges you have separate forms, no? Ridhima. The college form is separate. Okay, so you can again find that on the NMAT's website only. When you register for NMAT, no, I think they show you, there is some tab that shows you that for this college, you will have to fill this form. That is there, if I'm not wrong. Just check it once because I don't apply to separate colleges. So that's why I don't have complete info on this. Right? Now, C is the answer, absolutely correct. So, what made you think of C? Tell me. Because of with? Is it because of with? Is it talk to someone or talk with someone? Yes. Talk to someone or talk with someone? I've always wondered this. Tell me. I was talking with her. Is it correct or is it wrong? People just say it just like that. Both are correct. Okay. This is a common misconception that just talk to is correct and talk with is incorrect. In fact, talk with, a lot of people feel that it is more inclusive. When you say talk with, it gives the impression that the other person was also participating equally. That's the belief of a number of people, right? So both are accepted in the English language, and talk to, talk with, the prepositions are not a concern here. It should be whoever. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Priyanka, Divya, Disha, absolutely correct. Okay. So, this is essentially a concept of who versus whom. Who versus whom. I pay a lot of stress on this concept because when we talk to each other in informal English, we don't really care whether to use who or whom. However, our exams care, right? So, how do I gauge this? Just look at it like a question. This part that begins from whomever, this part, just look at it as if it were a question. Dash is willing to listen. What will your answer be? He is willing to listen or him is willing to listen? If this were a question, your answer will be, yeah, he is willing to listen. Isn't it? It will not be him is willing to listen. I need a subject here. So for if it is he, then we should use who. If it is him, then we should use whom. Okay, MM. Him, whom, he, who. Right? So, remember this. This is a very easy way to find out whether we should use who somewhere or whom somewhere. So here I had to use who. Good, good, good. So I hope you've understood this, with whoever is willing to listen and not whomever. Any query, ask me. This concept is important. All right. Okay, one more question for you. Let me see what you say here. Dash, are you kidding? Dash, are you messing with? Dash, are you kidding? Yes. What do you say? Varun says whom. Okay. Instead of kidding, you can also think of messing with. The who versus whom. These are your choices. Who or whom. Okay. Okay. I've got 3 homes, 4 homes. Very good, very good. So absolutely correct. It should be whom are you kidding? Why? Why? Whom are you messing with? Why? Because if you answer this, you are messing with he or him, or you are kidding again, he or him. Yes, you would say you are messing with him, you are kidding with him. Okay, so, or you are kidding him, sorry, not kidding with him, you are kidding him. So because of this him, I should use whom here. Whom are you kidding? In our conversation we say who are you kidding, right? Or we say who am I talking to? Even this is incorrect. When we say who am I talking to, when we pick up the call and we say who am I talking to, we don't really care whether to use who or whom. But grammar, in your exams, it cares, right? So if the answer will be I am talking to him, I am talking to him, isn't it? So this should be whom am I talking to? Whom, right? Hope this is clear now, and we can proceed to our next question on prepositions. Yes. So this is a fill in the blank. Tell me which preposition is correct here. These are the kinds of questions that you get in fill in the blanks based on prepositions. Okay. All right. Others? So I want enthusiastic responses on this. Come on. This is so easy, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Good. Good. So far I've got a unanimous C. All right. All right. Can't it be from? He was tired from. Yes. Does it have to be of? So prepositions, that is the reason why they are so popular. The reason why you need to work hard for them is that prepositions a lot of times, they are a product of convention, custom. That means so a certain set of people started using prepositions in a certain way, and then that became the norm, right? So after tired, we use of. It is fixed. After tired, we use of. Tired of something, right? Just like we say, we have to abide by the rules. After abide, we use by. We have to adhere to the rules. After adhere, we don't say by, right? So we have to adhere to the rules. We have to abide by the rules. He was tired of something, and that's why C is the only correct answer here. All right, and that's why you need to work hard to learn prepositions, because a lot of times their usage is fixed after a particular verb, after a particular word. Right? Okay. Now this was FIB on prepositions. Let's look at a fill in the blank based on vocabulary. 2 blanks here. You can get 2 blanks, 3 blanks in your exam as well. 2 to 3 blanks you can get. Let's see. Yes. What do you say? A. All right. So Varun has answered the fastest, followed by Gaurav. They both say A. Do we second them? Okay. Divya also says A. Others. Ekta A. All right. should be A. Anmol also says A. All right. Perfect. A is the answer here. Not just the absence of retribution. What is retribution? Yes, associated with something. Retribution. Punishment. Okay. Retribution is punishment. When you do something bad and then you are made to face the consequences for it, that is retribution. Okay. So not just the absence of punishment, but also the presence of camaraderie. Camaraderie. Comrade. From the word comrade comes camaraderie. Right? It means friendship and this feeling of goodwill towards others, right? Comrade is your friend, so camaraderie is friendship. But also the presence of camaraderie and honesty is required to bind up the nation's wounds. Okay, so we need to have an absence of punishment and a presence of friendship. Right, so you can form your own associations for it. For instance, if let's say you've seen a movie where the protagonist is punished severely for something, so that is retribution, right? Camaraderie, a movie about friends, for instance, a lot of friends. So for my people my age, Dil Chahta Hai is one such movie, right, which I associate with camaraderie. Then the show Friends is something that I associate with camaraderie. So similarly, you can have your own associations. That is what makes learning vocabulary interesting. Because if you just keep rote memorizing every single day, 15-20 words without associating them with stuff, after a while you'll forget them. So you have to associate them with, let's say, some movies, some sitcoms that you watch, people in your life, some emotion, some event, etc. Okay, that makes the process a lot more interesting. These are common words, we know their meanings. What about austerity? What does austerity mean? Only camaraderie goes with honesty. Absolutely correct. Yes. What is austerity? Austerity measures were announced by the government. Yes. What kind of measures would they be? Austerity. Or he lived an austere lifestyle. So austerity is the noun, austere is the adjective here. So austere lifestyle. Would it be a very lavish lifestyle if he lived an austere lifestyle? Yes. So basically, austere means a very frugal lifestyle, a very simple lifestyle. Okay, wherein this person is a person of few needs, a man of few needs, as we say. So austerity is a noun form of this, wherein a person lives a life of frugality. That is austerity, right? Also, austere is not a very chilled out word, so to say, right? If I call someone austere, no, if I call a person austere, it can have two meanings. One is that this person has a very frugal lifestyle. The other can also be this person is very stern, easygoing nahi hai, stern hai person. So that is also the meaning of austere. So austerity can mean the sternness, severity also, right? Absolutely correct. Spartans. I'm so glad you mentioned the Spartans. The Spartans are associated with austerity. They lived a very simple, frugal, basic life. Okay. So, in fact, in the English language, Spartan is used as an adjective also. Spartan is used as an adjective also to mean frugal, austere, etc. Okay. So you might think that Spartan should be used to mean a warrior, but actually it is used to mean frugal, austere because they lived a very difficult life and frugal life. Right? Good. Okay. Coming to, yes, our next question. This is an analogy question. So we have these two words, this word pair here. Find out another word pair that is similar, that is the most similar to the given word pair. Most similar to the given word pair. So here I forgot to write the instructions, but in your exam, do read the instructions carefully. And most of the times this is going to be the instruction that find out the word pair that is the most similar. Just once in IIFT, I saw a question direction that said find out the one that is the most dissimilar. So that just happened once. Otherwise, mostly this is the instruction. Yes. Tell me. What should be the answer for this? Let's see. Who answers the fastest this time? Shubhi says B. Varun C. Okay. Apocryphal. We need to know the meaning of this word in order to understand how it relates to genuine. Yes? Okay, Disha says A. Daisy also says A. Gaurav says A. Okay. Others? So I've got 3 A's back to back. Janvi says C. Alright. Aditya also C. So 3 C's, 3 A's. Anybody who wants to break that tie? Okay, 4 C's now. Alright. So let's discuss the meaning of apocryphal. Actually, the word comes from apocrypha. If you like studying the stories behind words, the etymology behind words, some of them have very interesting etymologies. For instance, Spartan, the word Spartan comes from this region Sparta, right? Apocryphal comes from apocrypha. It is believed, the Bible has a set of rules which is called the Testament, right? So there was something called the Old Testament, and there is also something called the New Testament. Now, it consists of various rules regarding living, behaving, etc. Right? Now, when the New Testament was written, not all the rules from the Old Testament made to the New Testament. Why? Because some of these rules were believed to be of doubtful authenticity. They were believed to be of doubtful authenticity. So those rules that did not make from the Old Testament to the New Testament, collectively they are called the Apocrypha. They are called the Apocrypha. Okay. And why did they not make it? Because they were of doubtful authenticity. So something that is apocryphal in nature is inauthentic or of doubtful authenticity. It is dubious. If I have to put it in one word, dubious. Right? So genuine on the other hand is something that is authentic. So the relationship here is antonymous. But let's say in the exam, I do not know the meaning of apocryphal and I could not really understand that this is an antonymous relationship, right? So if you see here, in case you know this also, nefarious is to evil. Nefarious means wicked or evil. Somebody who is hypocritical is insincere. An iconoclast, a person who actually is a dissident of sorts. Okay, somebody who attacks the cherished beliefs, religious beliefs of a time particularly. That person is called iconoclast. Such a person would be rebellious. So if you see, this has a similar synonymous relationship, this has a similar relationship, and this also has it. So probably then this is not a synonym pair. This much is clear. Most likely it is an antonym pair. So you can make guesses like this in the exam in case you do not know the exact nature of relationship between the two words. Because ultimately we have to mark something, right? So in case you're able to eliminate based on such grouping, nothing like it. So B, C and D are eliminated between, yes, nefarious is wicked, evil, immoral, etc. Now sanguine is to cynical. This is the answer. Good. Those who said it. Why? Because sanguine means, yes, sanguine. A very interesting story again sanguine has. Sanguine means optimistic. Okay. And cynical, extremely pessimistic. A cynical person is somebody who does not trust anyone, is doubtful of other people's motives, thinks that everybody is out to attack him. Extremely pessimistic. Okay. So, sanguine is to cynical is an antonym pair. This is the answer. Now, this you must be wondering, what is the relationship between Catholics and liberals? Okay, some people in fact associate being Catholic with conservatism, but actually the word Catholic does not just mean a person who practices Catholicism. Okay, a Christian who practices Catholicism. No. Catholic has another meaning. Somebody who is welcoming of various worldviews, various viewpoints. That person is also called Catholic in nature, right? So Catholic means liberal. Again, this is a synonym pair. Okay, so you learned a new thing, that Catholic actually means liberal also. Somebody who is welcoming of multiple perspectives, multiple viewpoints. Right? Perfect. So A is our answer. Good, Gaurav. And yes, it is related to blood, sanguine. Yes, people who welcome, Catholic, a synonym is eclectic also. A synonym of Catholic is eclectic. We tell you, no, that you have to become eclectic readers. You have to read from a wide variety of sources. So one synonym of Catholic is eclectic. Okay. And yes, sanguine comes from blood. Any ideas? If not, then this is your homework. You have to find out that what is the etymology of sanguine. I have discussed it in some of my previous sessions with MAT, CT, CMAT students. I have discussed this already. So find out what is its etymology and how is something that means optimistic related to blood. How did it come to be related to blood? Okay. And the afterword is C for NMAT. Along with planning your preparation, please keep a sight of this, that you will have to take at least 5 to 6 marks. Okay. So populate your calendar in such a way that you have time for these marks and you space these marks well depending on when you are taking the exam. At least 5 to 6, because the exam is adaptive. You have to get used to an adaptive exam. Also, if you want a detailed month-wise plan, right, then I took another session on this. You can watch this session. This is the link. So the name of the session was NMAT month-wise strategy. If you type that, you will find this session on YouTube. Okay, on our channel itself. I took it 2 weeks ago, so you can even scroll down the videos and you'll find it. We always have to find the synonyms of phrases. Varun, I think what you are trying to say is that in analogy, we try to search for similar relationships. Yes, mostly we look for a similar relationship that exists between my question pair. Mostly we look for a similar relationship. Yes. Okay. All right. For English grammar, in case you want to study English grammar in relative depth, you want to learn the concepts, then I'll recommend Renan Martin. Okay. Even Raymond Murphy is good. I personally am a little biased towards Renan Martin. That's why I'm recommending this. Right? Okay. All right, then. This is it from my side for today. I hope you enjoyed the session. If yes, please do press the like button and do subscribe to our channel in case you haven't already. This is our CAT 2023 program. We have already launched this batch, right? So you can join this, and a lot of material, a lot of expert guidance, GDPI prep, etc. coming your way, right? And apart from this is our, these are the social media platforms that you can follow us on, and this is our Telegram channel where you can stay connected with each other with us. Okay. Thank you for attending. Welcome, welcome all of you. Bye bye. See you tomorrow at 12. Thank you, Varun. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Bye.